Math Marbles, in this model we're going to undo square roots. And in other words, we're going to use this to undo square numbers. That's what we're actually going to do. Those are the inverse operations. So you have multiplying and dividing, that they're inverses of each other. Well, same thing happens with square numbers and square roots. They are also ways of undoing each other when we talk about equations. So we're going to try this out. And here we have y squared is equal to 121. We know that y squared is the same thing as y times itself. We know that. So in order to isolate that variable, to get that y by itself, which is what we want just one y, that's our goal, we can use a square root symbol. And that way, that's going to tell us what times itself, or just giving us that base of y. And we're going to do the same thing with the other side of the equation. So remember what we do, so one side do to the other. So if the square root of y squared is y, the square root of 121 is what we're going to figure out. Now, if you're not sure and you want to use your calculator, I have mine on the side. You can use the square root symbol to get 11. Y equals 11. And again, a square root is just a way of undoing square numbers. That's what we're going to work on today. It's a way of undoing them. So let's try in this second example. And here you're going to notice there's a coefficient in front. So I cannot just go and do this automatically. Oh, no. I have to deal with the coefficient first. Okay, so I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. And that gives me b squared is equal to 49. And now I'm going to use my square roots on both sides. So I just have b as the expression on the left, and the square root of 49, which you should know is 7. But if you're not sure, you can just use your calculator and you would get 7. And you can test this out, because I always advise testing your work. So 2 times 7 squared is equal to 98. Now you're going to use your order of operations, do your exponent first. 2 times 49 is equal to 98, and that is true. 98 is equal to 98. So you're going to see a lot of square roots when we have equations that have square numbers. So we're going to look for those. Anytime you have an equation that has a square number, and we're trying to figure out that variable, but there's a little 2 next to it, we're going to use square roots to help us out. Let's try one more. And in this one, we have a number that looks like a fraction. There are 2 ways we're going to go about this. 2 different methods. I like one more than the other, but I think you really should know both, because you're going to do a lot of work with radicals in the future. So in the first one, I decided I want to take 36/4, and I just want to simplify that. Use my division. So I'm going to use my division for this. 36 divided by 4 is 9. So now that is a problem I can't figure out. The square root of 9 is equal to what? Well, square root of 9 is 3. X equals 3. Easy peasy. Another way you can do this is by taking your number, and you have to know this one also, because you're going to use this a lot in future math lessons. And you're going to express it as the square root of your numerator over your square root of your denominator. I started writing the answer early. And luckily, these 2 are easy enough for us to do. They are perfect square numbers. The square root of 36 is 6. And the square root of 4 is, 2. So I get 6 over 2, which we can simplify. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now, Math Marbles, even though it was the first time I saw this, I really gravitated to this first method of just changing it and using my division. But I will say, as you get to do more and more complicated mathematics, you are going to have to simplify quite a few radicals in this way when you have it in fractional form. So please make sure you're aware of both and you use both as you're doing your work. And as always, you do have your calculator, so if you were to enter it as square root of 36 over 4, you would also get 3 as a final answer. So we're going to hit pause so you can jot this down into your notes, and you're going to just undo a lot of square numbers. You're going to work with those equations today in today's lesson. Take your time, really make sure you're showing all your work. Do not just rely on your calculator. And if you are using your calculator, just make sure that your thinking is visible on the page so you can always go back and double check your work. That's all for now, Math Marvels. I will see you in the next lesson.